Hey, what's up, everybody? Um, Welcome to Ultimate Music Lover album reviews, unboxings, and more. I have officially changed the title to that. So, that will be the title of the YouTube channel from now on because I feel like that I have to specify exactly what I'm doing. So, I'm not just doing album reviews, so I'm doing unboxings as well. And I also added the and more in case the channel ever grew in the future to where I ever started having like famous rock shows um on the channel, or like famous artists coming in, or interviews with famous artists. If I ever grew to that point, then that would be the and more portion of it. So today we are back with another unboxing. Keep in mind, I am not going to do a review on this album until it has turned 50 years old. So when it turns 50, I will do a review on it. But until then, I'm just going to do an album review and wait. So I went to Walmart, and today I picked up the 2016 remaster of Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon. I have an original pressing of this already. The reason why I decided to go pick up a remaster was because I was curious to know what this record sounded like. Like, I was curious to know if it was better, if it was just as good, or if it was worse, if it was worth $25 to $40. So, we will find out today in this video during this unboxing. I'm going to try and take the hype sticker off of the shrink wrap because I'm going to slap it right there on the cover. This hype sticker I don't care that much about, but this one right here I do. So I'm going to take this off when I get the chance and throw it on there. So without further ado, let's get to this. I always like to start at the top and then just kind of peel it off while preserving that hype sticker. And another reason why, so when I get the chance, I'm going to take that off and slap it here on the front cover. I don't know if I want to put it on the front cover now or if I just want to leave it blank, but let's see what we're looking at here. So when you open it up inside, you got the same kind of deal with the inside gatefold. Comes with all the lyrics and all the mastering information. And then instead of Harvest Records down there in the corner, it says Pink Floyd Records. And the main reason why I decided to buy this 2016 remaster was because it was easy to get the accessories finally. Because they remastered the album, and now even though they're not the official originals, you have both decals, and then you just got two excellent posters, which I'm going to carefully unfold. You got this poster, and then this poster. So this poster with the band, I don't know if the original pressing was long ways like this, or like if it was horizontal fold out, or if it was a vertical fold out, but regardless, you finally get both posters and both decals. I've looked at original pressings of this album, and you try to get an original pressing with the decals and the posters with it, and you're looking, if you're lucky $75. But then there's other times when for like $100 or $150, you're looking at an original 73 press. So I thought it's not really worth it. Now let's take a look at the record itself. So I apologize, my nose is a little itchy. So it comes in a poly-lined inner sleeve with black paper on the outside. And record looks to be in okay condition. There is a little rub mark here that I'm concerned about. And then just some dust. So side one. Got side one right here. I'm trying to make it so that you can see it in the light. And then you got side two. So, there has been people that have said that these reissues come from a digital source, which the chances of it coming from a digital source are most likely true. But you also have to read the hype sticker too, because on all of these Pink Floyd remasters, it says at the bottom of the tracks listing, remastered from the original analog tapes by James Guthrie, Joel Plant, and Bernie Grundman. So the source for copying the albums might be digital, but the overall source that this comes from is still the original master tapes. And honestly, we have used the original master, or it's not the original master actually, because Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs try using the original master tape in their process of recording The Dark Side of the Moon. And what happened was one of the officials at Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs back in 79 or like 8, when they first got a hold of this master tape and was in the middle of reissuing and remastering it to the best quality that you could ever own, somebody put it on a recording deck instead of a playback deck. And so part of the master tape got recorded over with part of Supertramp's Crime of the Century. I think it was part of School. I can't remember what track specifically, but yeah, Supertramp's Crime of the Century ended up on the original master of Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon. So the original master tape, they did not actually use it. I think that is a myth for this album. I think they are using a second generation or third generation master. I guess I couldn't preserve the hype sticker that well because it's all bent up and stuff. So that sucks for that. So there was no way to preserve that, so I guess I'm just going to get the plain black cover, which is okay because this is incredible to begin with. So, now some of you are probably going to think I'm crazy, but I will specify this. The Dark Side of the Moon is actually not my favorite Pink Floyd album. In fact, if it's in my top 5, then it's number 5. I don't understand the hype between, like, Dark Side of the Moon being the best album ever. Because I don't agree with that. I have made it clear that the Smashing Pumpkins' Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is my favorite album ever, at least at this moment. But The Dark Side of the Moon, it's not even the greatest Pink Floyd album. I felt like it was an album that they sat down, and it was a good time for Pink Floyd, because when they sat down and recorded this, they had like all the perfect ideas just come together at that moment. But in my opinion, The Wall is a better album. It's it was better thought out. It had more meaning to it. The Dark Side of the Moon. It's still great. Like, there's tracks I'll take from it for sure. Like, the first song I ever learned to play on the bass guitar was Money. I love Money. Money's got a nice groove. And then Us and Them is like the greatest war anthem ever. The Great Gig in the Sky in Time. And then Eclipse. Obviously, Eclipse. Eclipse is just a great song. I like the extended version better. I don't like the short album, 2-minute, 8-second album version. I like the extended version where at least Roger Waters performs live, where he sings all the lines and then he does an extended like chorus portion, like the second part of the chorus. He extends it as an instrumental, and then he sings the second part of the chorus again, starting with "And All You Create." And I love that extended version better than the album version. But regardless of whether it's the album version or the live version, Eclipse is a great song. It's probably the best song on the entire album. But the album as a whole is great too, but it's not the best album to ever be made. Like I said, I feel like Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness was the best album to ever be made, and then The Wall was the more thought out record. So that's just my personal opinion on it, on the album as a whole. So I've already did like a mini review explaining the album as a whole, but I still like it. It's still really good. The Wall is just my preference. I'm a Wall kind of guy. In fact, if I had to rank my top 5 Pink Floyd albums, Dark Side of the Moon being number 5 and The Wall being number 1, Wish You Were Here and Animals would both tie at number 2, because neither one of them is better or worse than the other. They kind of go hand in hand. And then The Final Cut is number 4. If I had to pick between Dark Side of the Moon and Final Cut, I would pick Final Cut. Final Cut is more anti-war. And sure, some people have complained about the Final Cut being whiny because Roger Waters is just all wah, wah, wah. But Dark Side of the Moon, like I said, there was never really any thought put into it. It was just 4 guys sitting in a room just like, let's jam, you know? It's your typical group of bandmates that sit down in a studio, take 10 hits of LSD each, and then just sit there like, this sounds good. And it definitely hit success because it stayed in the top 200 on the top Billboard charts, which is the top 200 albums. So it stayed in the top Billboard 200 for 783. I don't know. I think it was 728 weeks or 23. I can't remember the exact number of weeks, but 15 years. It stayed in the top 200 albums for 15 years. Now, I don't know what album has been more successful than that, because I don't think there's been an album in history that has stayed in the top 200 albums on the Billboard for 15 years. So, as far as that commercial success goes, this is the greatest album ever. But as far as my personal opinion goes, it would be the last record I would ever consider being the greatest record to ever be made. Because I'll do a more in-depth review because I did a song-by-song review, but I'll go into more of an experience on how listening to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins for the first time was for me. But that is definitely my preferred album. That is my number 1 album of all time. My number 1 song of all time is 33. Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is just beautiful. I can't even begin to describe the depthness of it. And the sonic achievement that the Smashing Pumpkins made is definitely far greater than what Pink Floyd did with The Dark Side of the Moon. In fact, Billy Corgan wrote Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness because he was inspired to create a double album like The Wall, because he listened to The Wall and he was like, I would want to make a double record. And Virgin Records tried to convince him out of it, but he just dug his boots in and went on. But he wrote so much material that when they put the final album together, it divided up onto 2 CDs and 2 cassette tapes, but 3 LPs. So it ended up being a triple album, or now the 2012 remastered box set being a quadruple album. So it ended up being more than what he asked for. And he's like, The Wall was definitely the better album, but I think we did pretty good. But The Wall's my favorite Pink Floyd album, but compared to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, I think the Smashing Pumpkins really knocked it out of the water and they did much better. But that's enough about my rant about how awesome Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness is. I'm going to go put on this 2016 remaster of The Dark Side of the Moon, and we're going to see how it sounds, see if it was worth the $28.97 that I spent at Walmart. So that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. If you have any suggestions for album reviews, trust me, please leave a comment down in the description. And coming March 1st, I think March 1st was the original release date. If not March 1st, then March 2nd. But coming on March 1st, let's just say March 1st for now. The date will vary depending on what the actual release date was. In fact, I think it even says on here. Oh, it just says March of 1973. It doesn't say the exact date. I'm guessing it's the 1st. So coming March 1st, I will do a song-by-song album review on Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon, and then give my overall thoughts about it. It was just a brief overview for this video, but I'll give a more in-depth overview later. But again, if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like, and then subscribe to the channel for more unboxings, album reviews, and much more. And with that, I will catch you all on the flip side.